All right, Brian. We've got your X450 here, black edition. We've got your transmitter with your FPV monitor mounted up top. And what I'm going to do is go into some of the features here of your package and show you the different switches and functions of your transmitter and exactly what you're going to do with this once you get it out of the box. Okay, first let's start with your transmitter. And we got a lot going on here with your transmitter, so let's start with the switches. Let's get in a little closer here. You'll see the blue switch right here. This blue switch is your flight control switch. So at the very top position as it is in right now, that's your GPS mode. And that's the mode that you're going to default start out in each time. So if you move it to the middle position, that is attitude mode, which is a sportier version of the GPS mode. And then in the bottom position, that's manual mode. You'll need full constant control from the sticks, just like regular helicopters. Leaving that top position, that's again GPS, and that's where it starts out at by default. The red switch right back here, Brian, this switch right here is your failsafe. Regardless of which one of these modes you're in right here, your failsafe switch right back here, flicking that forward just like that, will bring your quad back to where it started. It will land and shut off the motors for you, and it does that automatically, so it's just a failsafe for you. Look over here at the black switch right down here. The black switch back here is your RetraX. So after you take off, flick this one forward, and your landing gear will retract. They'll go up, and you can put those back down at any time. This knob right back here, this knob is your gain control. So this knob right here, turning that left or right, will adjust how your quad flies in the air. Right now I have your gain set to where they should be, so you shouldn't need to adjust those at all. But again, that's that knob. You don't really need to adjust those. Again, like I say, I've got those set for you. The one you might want to use there is your tilt. This is for your GoPro. Tilting this back and forth will make your GoPro tilt up and down. And of course you'll be able to see all of that on your monitor there. So those are what the switches do. Now the ones that aren't color coded here, they don't do anything. They're not programmed to any function of the quad. So only the ones that are color coded there, and this knob and that knob. So blue, red, black, this knob, and that knob are the only only switches that you're actually going to be using. Alright, so that's a brief overview of your transmitter. Let me show you how the FPV part works. Okay, we kind of got a lot going on back here. There's a whole bunch of extra wiring from this actual monitor itself, and so rather than have a bunch of loose wire, I just put it in this nice little box. It's velcroed right to the back. It'll stick good, so that'll kind of get it out of your way. This is your power cable right here for your receiver. So this plugs in to this. This little battery right here goes to this plug. So this battery right here is powering this receiver. The bigger battery here is going to power the actual screen. So to turn on the screen, you'll simply take this power cord cable there, and then the one that matches up to it right here, and you'll just plug those two together, up there and right here. Just plug those together. Now once you plug those on, the screen itself will just come on, so you don't have to turn it on. So just plug this piece into right here, and then plug this piece into right here, and that will be actually all you'll need to do to turn on your screen and your FPV equipment. And then this power button right here, you just hold it down for a second. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, you'll see that I plug these in right here. Now all you'll do is just hold this down for a second, and that's how you'll get that to come on. Channel 7, I believe, is the one that we have everything programmed to. But of course you're going to get this little diagram right here. So this shows what channels you can select on your actual little video transmitter. It's on the quad, and how it relates to the transmitter. So you'll have that. But anyway, that's how you'll turn that on. Okay, so once you've completed what I just showed you on the actual transmitter part for the screen and turning that part on, so again, you've got these two plugged together, this one here and this one here plugged together. Screen comes on automatically. This is powered up. You push that button, it comes on. Now over here on your quad, you got this right here. Okay, let's see if I can get my hand out of the way. Okay, this goes to this little battery right here. Okay, and then I've marked for you, per your request, VTX, so that's video transmitter. So this is obviously for your FPV equipment. Once you plug these in right here, that will turn on your video transmitter. You can see it right underneath there. There it is with your antenna coming out. That will turn that on. So once you plug that in and that comes on, simply all you have to do now is hold down the power button on your GoPro for a second and that comes on. So once you have those plugged in, you'll get an image on your screen. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to go ahead and plug those in right now. Alright, so now what we have is we have this plugged in. As I mentioned, that goes to the video transmitter. That turned on our little transmitter down here. As you can see, oops, the red light's on. Okay, so plugging that in, turn that on. We turned on the GoPro right there. This cable's already plugged in, so plug that in, turn on the GoPro, and over here we plug this in, the battery, to the power source for the transmitter, and then we held that button down and turned it on. Then we plug the screen on. And so now, what you have, and you can kind of see it, my lighting's a little bit weird, but that is your image. So what you have, you can see what, here we go. So now when you're holding it, now you can kind of see, it sees me. This is really awesome. You'll just be able to sit there and hold your transmitter and see everything that's going on. I'm recording this with an iPad, so alright. So that's just kind of an example here of your FPV and how that's going to look. Let's set that down there. Alright. Okay, and then now for the quad. As far as the blades, what I did for you is I put these little color-coded sticker markers on there. Now these just come right off really easily and they're not going to leave any sort of residue, but what I did is I color-coded these dots. So this blade goes to that motor. Pretty easy. Green dots, yellow dots. Same idea. This blade goes to this motor, and you'll notice that these are yellow and that's yellow, green, and green. So because these two blades are the same, those two blades are the same, and these motors right here rotate the same direction and so forth and so on. So that way you'll know exactly which blades go where. Got your double stack batteries here, and then I'll show you here. I'll just spin this around. Alright, so what we got back here is a lot of wires going on here, but what I did is I put a little zip tie right here to kind of hold these wires out of the way, because obviously when your blades go around you don't want your cords in the way. But this cable I've got right here, and that just easily unplugs if you just want to fly with one of these batteries at a time. Otherwise you just plug your quad in right here, and that will use the capacity of both of those. And like I say, I've kind of tucked some of these wires so they don't get in the way of the blade. When she comes by, it's kind of tight quarters there. But anyway, so that's where you're going to plug it in and you're good to go. The other thing too, you want to make sure that your GPS compass, this little arrow, is always pointed forward. Now this is, this is pointed the right way, but like I say, if this ever came off, or if you had a crash and this broke and you re-glued it, or something like that, you want to make sure this arrow is pointing directly forward. One thing I wanted to mention on here, you'll notice that your batteries some of them have green dots. These little green dots mean that I've pre-charged these batteries. So all the batteries that have the green dot, which is going to be both of these two batteries here, both of these two here, this one, and then of course one of your 5,000 milliamp batteries, you'll find a little green sticker. That means I have pre-charged those and they're good to go. Your battery voltage though, for a fully charged battery, for example on a 4-cell battery, would be 16.8 volts. So 4.2 volts per cell is the highest you want to charge it, and you don't want them to drop any lower than 3.2 volts per cell. Well, Brian, that's enough talking from me. Let's get to the flight test. If you have any questions, just let me know. Enjoy.